What's happening, everyone? We're back at home in the workshop. Michael and Mikey have been absolutely flat out. We'll see the progress they're after making. Been a busy one for the lads. So, a few changes. The engine is back in the car. My brother Mike rebuilt this from bottom to top again. In a while I'll show you guys the bearings that came out of this, but the engine was in brilliant condition. It literally, if we could have seen inside it, you'd be happy to continue using it without changing anything. But it's nice to give it all a refresh after such a hard season and just see how everything is wearing. But in general, we go through a few of the changes that we have made. We're after switching to a daily engineering dry sump system. This is a 5-stage oil pump, and in a second we'll show you underneath, but it's an absolutely awesome piece of kit. So your pump is attached directly to the sump pan, and it's all billet alloy, which looks absolutely insane. That's the best quality dry sump system I've ever seen. They're just finishing the plumbing of the system now. We're after mounting the tank in the same place as we mounted in the Eurofighter. So right there in the footwell, it's all perfectly firewalled and sealed in there with this removable door on the outside. The sight level here to see the level of the tank. Really tidy job and a nice upgrade for the season. Benefits we see in this is last year on a couple of tracks, on very split second, we have noticed like a tiny bit of oil surge when you really inspect the ECU master data. Obviously the wet sump, sometimes it can get a pocket of air, but also a huge thing with the dry sump, like last year when we're driving the Eurofighter in Riga, we're revving the car to almost 9,000 RPM. With the wet sump you'd be a little bit nervous of going that high, especially with the chance of potentially breaking the gears in the oil pump itself. So with this, RPM is unlimited, no oil surge. Are you happy with the kit, Mike? Yeah,
it's unreal.
Yeah, it's a serious upgrade for the car, and over a lot of the kits we used before, this is just different level of quality. The air oil separator is mounted on the back of the oil pump as well, which was really nice. We have a really short run to the K&N oil filter. Yeah, so we're very, very happy with how that's after turning out. Mikey has had some fun as well. His after repainting the sills of the car, so we had a few bangs in here, so they were crushed in last year. The quarter panel here was all creased and pushed in here, so he pulled them out, gave it a shot of paint. We also last year had to tap this back a little bit more for the wider Falcon tires we're running towards the end of the season, so it opened up the seam a little bit here, so we joined that back together and gave under the wheel wells a shot of paint. So that's really after tidying the car up. Another little upgrade, little dash mount the lads have made for the ECU master display. Last year we had a more temporary mount made, but this is a lot tidier, very solid, and looks the part as well. Getting to the back of the car, the full chassis has gone through a massive deep clean. The whole subframe and everything was stripped off the car, and we inspected all the seams, and everything looks really good. We also, if you remember from last year, when we added these plates to stop the dirt getting inside and also to guide the air directly into the radiator, we got these powder coated in black, so it looks nice and tidy in there now, as they were just raw alloy last year. Quite hard to clean, so that looks a lot better. The radiator itself was extremely dirty, so that got a very deep clean as well, so it's all ready and freshened up. We have a new windscreen, which was not fitted yet, but we're after changing to a heated front windscreen in case of rainy days. We actually had, I think, 1 day wet at each round last year, and one thing I hate is when your visibility starts to go from driving. So yeah, that's a nice little upgrade. I think that's pretty much it really, isn't it? Yeah. So we're very close to filling the engine with oil and building up the oil pressure, make sure we have no leaks, and we should be running, I would say, hopefully close to this evening. The body kit has gone away to be repaired, so we'll be probably doing our very first test with some changes, hopefully before this weekend. for an alignment setup, and then we're going testing. It looks pretty mad without the body kit and the wing and everything on it. Okay, get it aligned. Car safe. So we're up here at Watergrass Hill. Unfortunately it's raining, so this is going to be our first test of the year so far with the dry sump system. We've made some changes to the steering on the front, which we'll get into more detail with probably in a later video, but mainly we're testing the engine after the refresh, the dry sump system, make sure the pressure is good and the car is running nice, and just a general shakedown of the car after it being fully stripped. Gearbox has been rebuilt, fresh clutch, the engine totally rebuilt, the dry sump system. We brought the car up here with no body kit, just so if we're making any changes, you know, we're probably not going to get a perfect feel for the car in the wet, but it might dry up in the next hour. We have a couple of hours to spend here if we need it. We're back at Adventure Park at Kartworld, and I love this track, especially with its tight corners and the fast first corner, so you can really throw the car at big angle to make sure your steering isn't binding while hard on the brakes entering the hairpins. So it's really good to make sure that your steering is working. So right, I think we'll get straight into the car and see how she feels. Out she comes. Looks pretty wild without the body kit. Ready to drive it, Mike?
Huh?
Are you ready to drive it?
Oh yeah.
Just give it a few final checks and then bring it for a spin on the track. Nice to be able to drive this car again. We also upgraded to a heated windscreen, so we'll be wiring that in. You can see the wires just left there loose. This is just a quick test to make sure all the important things are working before we get to the smaller things. In general, it went very good. Unfortunately, the track we're kind of caught in between showers, so it wasn't ideal conditions to feel the actual changes that we made. But the good news is that it's the first shakedown in the car. We had one small oil leak, fixed that, got some good running in time on the engine at spring pressure, and I guess the wet weather was good for that today as well. So everything's running really nice in that case. The changes we made to the steering, I feel like we need more testing on a dry day to see if it's better, much better than last year. Obviously we can only make so many changes, especially in the wet, because that's when you have least feedback from steering anyway. In general, she's running great. It's nice to have the car freshened up and back running again. That's a huge amount of work, so big thanks to Mikey and Michael for doing so much work over the last few weeks. It's brilliant to have the car back on track, and it's looking absolutely sweet under the bonnet. You can see the additional dry sump, which is awesome. So it just gives you a lot of peace of mind with the engine. We had the RPMs turned down quite a bit today, compared to competition, just checking everything. Right guys, so we're back home. That's it for our first test in the S14, and hopefully we can get another test in good weather conditions to have a really good feel for the car, make some small changes, and get our final proper impressions. The track was very tricky, as you can see from the video. It was hard to get the grip down and just feel exactly the changes that we've made, if it's better or worse. So in other news, we've also ran the competition for the BC Racing custom coilovers. You might remember that from a few videos ago. We ran a draw with all the names that entered. Thank you for everyone that shared and promoted this competition. So the winner of a free set of BC Racing custom coilovers is Alan Kelly JZX81 on Instagram. So I'll get in touch with you, Alan. Thanks for entering and congrats on the win. We'll shortly be getting in touch with you regarding how to receive the coilovers and for what car and specs you need. And thanks to everyone else that entered the competition. Hopefully this year we'll be able to run a few more competitions during the season as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it from us this week. Next week I think we're going to be working on the Eurofighter, freshening up the body kit and getting that car back together, as we are going to an event in the UK very, very soon. So more about all of that next week, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.